Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 435. Phil Graham here. Today, I want to share what I think the top 3 mistakes Facebook advertisers are making right now, along with some quick fixes. And this is really for both Facebook and Instagram ads. And this will cover you whether you're running your first campaigns and you're brand new, or you've been doing this for years and you're super experienced. I see advertisers of all experience levels making these same mistakes here in 2025. And these mistakes are very avoidable. So I can't wait to share not only what they are, but how to fix them. Before we dive into that, if you guys are looking for some one-on-one help with your ads, whether that is through one-on-one coaching and consulting, or you want somebody to run your ads for you, for either one of those things, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you. We can set up a short Zoom call and go from there. So let's jump right in. There's so many mistakes. It was actually really hard to narrow it down to just 3 because I could probably do an episode that talks about the top 37 mistakes advertisers make. But I had to pick 3 because this cannot be a long episode. I like to keep these short, sweet, and full of value. But these 3 are definitely major, big mistakes. Let's start with mistake number 1. And that is letting their recommendations just run the show. So a lot of advertisers just follow every suggested setting that Meta recommends, Advantage plus everything, just do your thing and hope for the best. Now, my friends, I highly recommend against that. It doesn't mean that you can't have a campaign that does that. But if that's all you're doing, I think you're making a huge mistake as of right now, because I've seen a lot of issues with that. Here and there, it can work, but when you do this without a strategy, and you do this without the skill of being able to adapt, and you're just hoping that Meta will do the right things for you individually, for your exact situation, a lot of times that can lead to wasted ad spend and bad results. Many times it does not turn out well, and I've got the data to prove it. Again, I love Advantage Plus, I love AI, and I have plenty of audiences that are that and that do use that. But at the same time, I also test them against segmented specific audiences that I create. And I could also show you lots of data where the specific segmented audiences are doing way better at times. And again, I can show you the opposite as well, where Advantage Plus is doing way better. This is not one of those things where one thing is always right and the other is always wrong. That's why you got to be careful who you listen to. There's a lot of people that will tell you to only do this one way. Nothing else is right. Usually that's BS. So be careful. In this scenario, you want to test both. Here's the problem when you just use all of Meta's suggestions. And I've seen so much data. Now I'll go into an account. Let's say somebody's spending $50 a day on ads. And they'll have an ad set that has like 10 different ads in there. And they're letting Meta just automatically manage that ad spend and which ads get the reach. And so many times I will go in there and I'll see that like 80% of the reach is going to an ad that has a really high cost per result, like not good. And then I'll see this one potentially really good ad that has a great low cost result that has like a tiny reach. And why is that happening? Meta is just continuing to give ad budget and reach to an ad that is not performing well. Meanwhile, there's an ad that when it got a little bit of reach, it did great, but it's not getting any more reach. And I've seen advertisers sit there and 6 months later, it's the same thing. And they still don't know which ads are good. It's like there's no way they're ever going to find out unless they have some huge budget. So just blindly following the recommendations that Meta has is not always the right way. So what I recommend, quick fix, is to start with manual control And I would set your own budgets by ad set. I would have one ad typically per ad set, and I would have a combination of ads that have Advantage Plus broad targeting, as well as some other ads that have some much more narrow segmented targeting. And on those segmented ones, you want to match your ad copy to the types of people that you're targeting. And then you also, if you want to test 5 different creatives, put them in a separate ad set, give them an equal budget. And after a couple of weeks, you're pretty much probably going to know which one's better because they all got about the same amount of reach. You're not going to have to wait 6 months or 18 months or never to find out. Mistake number 2, this is another common one, and that is writing ad copy that talks about you and not your ideal customer or client. There are so many advertisers that are writing their copy and it's all about them. It's like, hey, we're proud about this, or we've been serving this area for X number of years, or whatever the case may be. Look at me, I'm the best. That's narcissistic influencer crap that people absolutely hate, especially in an ad. And you know why they hate it? Number 1, it's scammy. Number 2, it's spammy. And number 3, it has nothing to do with them. Now, if you already have a huge fan base as a company, if you have a huge brand, maybe you can send out an ad like that, and it might kind of make sense if you're already a huge brand. Maybe. I still wouldn't really recommend it. But certainly, if you're not a Nike or Apple or something like that, in many cases, that's going to be a big mistake. You know why? Because people care about them. They care about their problems, their challenges, or what inspires them or what they're excited about. Not about you or your company. Not yet, anyway. They don't even know who you are many times because a lot of times your ads are going to a cold audience. So it should be about them, not you. So the quick fix on this is to flip your ad copy. Instead of talking about you, start with them. Start with either the pain point or challenge that they have that you can help them with, or the desire that they have, or what they're inspired by. And start there. That's where you can build a bond and connect with them. And once you've started there and you've gotten their attention, then you can talk a little bit about you, especially if you want to inject some credibility stuff, because it is super important. They need to know you're credible. But if you start that way, you're probably going to fail. They're probably never going to watch or read your ad. So start with them and then transition into some credibility and then transition into the rest of the ad. And in my opinion, that is worlds better than how most people do their ad copy and do their videos. And last but not least for today, mistake number 3. This is so common. Running 1 or 2 ads and just hoping it's a winner. You make one ad, you hit publish, and you wait. You don't do any variations. You don't do any testing. And it's a mistake because even the best ad pros in the world don't always guess right or make the best hooks or make the best ads on the first try because there's always so many variables. Sometimes it's your 5th ad or your 12th ad that works amazing. You've got to test. And I would also add this to the mix. Maybe you are doing testing, but you're testing wrong. If you're testing and there's more than one variable, then you are testing wrong. And that can be an issue as well. So here's a quick fix for that. Instead of doing all that, start with, instead of 1 ad, if you have the budget for it, start with 2 or 3 or 4 ads with different hooks, different creatives, but send them to the same audiences. So the only difference is the ad, not the audience. And then test, let it run long enough, at least a couple weeks, unless you have a really large budget. And then you'll be able to learn faster and spend hopefully smarter and hopefully find your winners quicker versus never having an idea and sometimes turning off a winner and you didn't even know it. I know that Facebook and Instagram ads can sometimes either feel overwhelming or frustrating or even maddening. But if you can fix these 3 things, sometimes that can make a huge difference, even just fixing one of them, much less all 3. So make sure you guys are not just relying on Meta's recommendations. You can do that, but also do your own too, which I think have a better chance to succeed in a lot of situations. Make sure you're writing ad copy that starts by talking about your ideal client and customer and what's important to them, not you. And make sure you guys are not just running one ad, but you're running multiple ads and you're testing in the right way. And as always, just a reminder, it's always important to point out that every business is unique. Results can vary. There's no guaranteed outcomes. So always keep that in mind. My friends, episode 435 is in the books. Thank you guys so much for being here. We got another great show for you next week. Until then, I hope you have a great week. PhilGrahamDigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at PhilGrahamDigital. I'll talk to you on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit PhilGrahamDigital.com/podcast.